once again. Welcome to 2022. Actually,
We did it. We made it.
We did.
Well, we haven't made it yet, but
we made it through 2021. Well, I mean, yeah. According to what you're saying, yeah. Not right now.
If this is posted, we made it.
If this is posted, we made it. Yeah, we made it through the new year. All right, but our first week of 2022,
That's right.
We're kicking off. Well, first of all, I don't think I finished the intro. This is Real Shame, a show where we watch movies from our list of movie my spots. My name's Andy.
And I'm Adam.
Now that I finished the intro, we're kicking off our first week of 2022 with a couple of movies from my list. I haven't seen either one of them. They're animated. Spoiler. Obviously, you can see what the title of the episode is. But what did we decide to choose from my list for today's episode?
We chose a movie from 2013, and it's called Frozen. All right, I'm pulling this one from IMDb. When a newly crowned Queen Elsa accidentally uses her power to turn things frozen, I guess,
Into ice.
to curse her homeland in infinite winter, her sister Anna teams up with a mountain man, his playful reindeer, and a snowman to change the weather condition in Frozen.
Your Majesty, born with the powers or cursed?
Born, and they're getting stronger.
You are lucky it wasn't her heart. The heart is not so easily changed, but the head can be persuaded.
Do what you must.
I recommend we remove all magic, even memories of magic, to be safe. But don't worry, I leave the fun. She will be okay.
But she won't remember I have powers?
It's for the best.
Listen to me, Elsa. Your power will only grow. There is beauty in it, but also great danger. You must learn to control it. Fear will be your enemy.
No, we'll protect her. She can learn to control it, I'm sure.
All right, Frozen came out in 2013. It's an animated movie by Disney, not Pixar. It is a Disney movie. It is written and directed by both Chris Buck and Jennifer Lee. It is one of the first feature-length animated movies directed by a woman. Surprising. So that's really good that happened. Frozen stars Kristen Bell as Anna, Idina Menzel. No, not Adele Mazim. It's Idina Menzel. As Queen Elsa. Jonathan Groff as Kristoff. Josh Gad as Olaf in this animated movie. It is based on a Hans Christian Andersen story, The Snow Queen. And do you want to try to say that in his native tongue?
Snedroningen.
There you go. It's a movie that I've seen. I actually saw it in theaters. I remember being hyped to see it. If you've seen our review on Tangled and stuff like that, you know that I really like the Disney animated musical, this is a part of that tradition. I would like to write a musical one day. Probably never going to happen, but do like these kind of movies. But it's a movie you've never seen.
No.
And it's a movie I made you see.
Yes.
So did Frozen lead you out in the cold, or did you get warmed by the fireplace like Olaf did later on in the movie?
Which one is good and which one is bad? Leave me out in the cold because it's Frozen? I don't know. Yeah, so Frozen is a movie. Again, I mentioned this before. I think I mentioned it last week. I just don't watch a lot of animated movies. They tend to pass me by. I don't really have anything against them. They're not usually my first choice whenever they come to the theater. So I did not see Frozen in the theater. In fact, I always get Frozen confused with Brave.
Okay.
So because
Interesting.
Brave came out, I don't know, 20-something, 2011.
I think it came out like the year after it or something.
Okay, so close to Frozen.
No, it came out, close, yes.
Right around the same time.
Yeah, you think you're right. I think
they
Brave
both have
is
like a
2012.
female lead character, right?
Yeah, one has red hair. The other ones have blonde and red hair.
So if you asked me a month ago, what movie does Let It Go come from? I might have said Brave. I know the song "Let It Go" because you can't escape it, right?
Well, I will give you. Okay, yeah.
You've heard
Brave is Pixar. Pixar doesn't do musicals, but go on.
Well, but to me, they're animated movies,
Yeah.
right? And they both have like a female protagonist,
Yep,
right?
I hear
Okay,
you.
so I I don't know. And Pixar's never made a musical, really, not once. Never?
No, the only kind of music they do is the stuff where they grab what's his face for Toy Story.
Randy Newman.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Well, anyway, I would conflate Frozen and Brave, but not anymore.
I'm sure you're not the only one. But
I've never seen Brave, so that's on my list somewhere.
I've never seen it either.
But Frozen is a movie that So I did know Idina or Adele Dazeem or whatever, Idina Menzel was in it. The John Travolta pronunciation is Adele Dazeem or something like that. But the correct pronunciation is Idina Menzel. I do know who Idina Menzel is. She's in Rent, the movie Rent. And she's got like very powerful voice.
She was Elphaba and Wicked.
But I honestly, and I knew Josh Gad was Olaf, but I don't even know that I knew Kristen Bell was in this or did a voice in this. And I know like Alan Tudyk and some other people do some voice
Alan
work.
Tudyk's in all the Disney
in
animated movies.
But yeah, aside from like Idina Menzel and Josh Gad, I don't think I really knew, who was in this movie. And I didn't really know the plot. I just knew that it had Let It Go in it. One time I sat down.
I know I was going to ask you. I have it in big letters and I left it. Andy, do you want to build a snowman?
Yes.
Do you want to build a snowman?
Yeah, I do. Even though it's like Christmas is 75 degrees.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so I have digressed quite a bit. So we are starting off the new year on the right foot because I really enjoyed this movie. I would say I like Tangled, and Tangled was on my top 5 of the year. I think I like this movie even more than Tangled. I think this movie is excellent. I like the songs in it, despite the fact that I've heard Let It Go a million times. Let It Go is a very great song. It's a very powerful ballad, and it fits. It fits the movie very well. But I like the other songs in the movie as well. I thought they were all, for the most part, pretty catchy. The Fixer Upper song and all that stuff that the trolls sing and everything. It was good stuff. I thought that the animation was great, all the snow and everything. I liked because I'm not familiar with the Snow Queen story, and I did kind of try and read the synopsis of it, and it was super long. I was like, man, there's a lot of detail in this story.
There's not a lot for Hans Christian Andersen to do, I guess. Back then.
But no, I thought that the plot was good. I thought, just like Tangled, I thought that the movie moved really well. Like I didn't get bored with it. I felt like it's pretty fast paced. Things get going. They're little kids to start the movie. She gets the little Anna, that is, gets the little Malin streak in her hair when her sister hits her, with the magic or whatever, and then they kind of grow apart. They sing, "Do you want to build a snowman together?" But then, then they're of age, their parents die, and then on her, I guess, coronation day, Elsa, her secret is revealed, and suddenly the kingdom of Arandelle starts turning very cold very quickly, and she is kind of forced to leave, and they go after. But it's exciting. It's an exciting movie. It moves really well. I was not the least bit, bored with it. I was very entertained. And Josh Gad as Olaf is hilarious, and I thought he's like a cute little snowman guy.
I love this end summer song he does.
Yeah, that's a great song.
Where he sees the puddle, and then the words that's supposed to rhyme is supposed to be puddle, but he's like, "Happy Snowman!"
Right? Yeah, he's infectious. Yeah. He's a great character. Steals the show. I think that kind of goes without saying. But it's just a cute, wonderful, fun movie. I had a great time with it. I really, 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 really liked it. So, if things continue like as they did with Tangled, this is going to wind up on my top 5 at the end of the year, unless we got 5 better movies.
I've been cherry picking the good animated movies for you. I think if we continue down this path, some of the ones are not going to be as good, but they're ones I haven't seen.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm glad you like Frozen. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna jump in.
Yeah. I think I said my piece. I think
I've cooled on this movie a little bit.
Cooled?
I'm not. Yeah, exactly. I know. I'm not as enamored with it as I was when it first came out. But I do think it's a really good movie. I like that and I think this has been talked at a lot, that they kind of don't go with the standard Disney tropes, Disney princess tropes, and all that kind of stuff with this movie. Like, I like that the true love that saves, Anna and, Elsa and saves the kingdom is not her falling in love with the man. It's sister love. It's
I like that too
familial
because
love, right?
it's not what I expected.
Yeah, so I like that they have that, and they kind of play into the tropes a little bit, or they play with your expectation of the tropes. With Anna falls in love with Hans, and or they meet over one night, and you're like, okay, well this is a like we're doing the Little Mermaid, like they just meet, they fall in love instantly, and we're gonna see his bloom. So I like that they kind of play into that and kind of subvert it a little bit, right?
Yeah, I
do think this movie is front loaded with some really really good songs. And I'm not as big a fan as Fixer Upper as you are.
Oh,
I mean, I think, Do You Want to Build Snowmen's excellent. I think Love is an Open Door is probably my favorite song on the whole thing that Anna sings with Hans. It's probably my favorite. The Coordination Day or the song that she sings is really good. Just filled with jams and all that.
What about Let It Go? Are you sick of it?
No, not anymore. No, there was a point in time I was sick of it, but no, not anymore.
Just curious.
I let that sickness go, my friend.
Okay.
So I do think I wish it had some more jams towards the end. It reminded me a lot of what we were talking about when we were talking about Anna versus the Apocalypse, where it's really front loaded with some really good songs, and then towards the end, I mean, we only get the Fixer Upper song. What other songs do we kind of get at the end, right?
I don't remember.
Not a whole lot.
You know better than me.
Yeah, I think we would need more, but that's kind of where it is. The animation is a little stale. I think its sequel is updated, looks a little bit better, but like when Elsa's building her ice palace and stuff like that, where it's using the computers to build all that stuff, it's a little too shiny. It's a little too CG for me. I mean, I'm nitpicking here, but those are kind of things that
I didn't notice that.
That stood out to me on this watch. But I do think it's a really good movie. I'm glad Idina Menzel got a chance to shine and show her voice and really rock that song. It reminds me of like Defying Gravity from Wicked and stuff, where she was really able to kind of belt things out. Kristen Bell, Veronica Mars, shockingly good at singing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, she's great.
And really good at it. So I'm glad you like it. I also like it. My nieces love this movie. And it was a movie that I'm glad that we got to introduce them to. And I think it's a great movie. And I'm glad you liked it. I really like Frozen.
I enjoyed it.
So I only have here in my notes that it became the highest grossing animated musical film of all time and the 9th highest grossing film of all time in the worldwide box office gross as April of 2014, and the worldwide gross is 1.097 billion. I don't know how old this trivia is because we've had really high grossing movies with like the Avengers and stuff like that, so it might have moved down, but it's really good. And it's made a lot of money. So much so that there was a sequel, but we might get into that a little bit later.
All right, so it's 90% fresh.
All right,
on Rotten Tomatoes, and 85% audience score. And Leonard Maltin had a review for it, 3 stars from Mr. Leonard Maltin. Yes.
All right, he was not as enamored with it as we were.
I mean, 3 stars not bad. Yeah, it's better than Bomb. Better than.
All right,
3 out of 4.
Yeah. Anything else you like to say on Frozen?
Nope.
Frozen good.
Frozen good.
Frozen good. I recommend it if you haven't seen it. But hopefully by the time you get here, you've seen it. Although I don't think we really spoiled it, so watch it. Even if you're an adult like us, old people. All right, on our Mondays episodes, we like to follow up our main review with what we've been watching. So I'm going to ask you, Andy, what have you been watching since the last time we spoke?
So the first movie that I wanted to mention was a movie by Trey Edward Schultz. He's the guy that wrote and directed Krisha, and then he went on to do It Comes at Night.
Okay, I've heard of It Comes at Night.
I think Waves is his 3rd film and most recent film. He's probably got a film in the works, or maybe he has a film after Waves, but I want to say it's his most recent film. I think Krisha's good. That was his debut, if I'm not mistaken. And, again, it was like written and directed by him. Not an easy movie to watch. I mean, it's a family kind of drama movie. I wasn't that high on It Comes at Night. Maybe I need to revisit it, but I didn't really like it. I think It Comes at Night was marketed funny.
Okay.
Like I think it was marketed as more of like a horror movie, and when I saw it, it's not really a horror movie. So I think my expectations kind of made it a little jarring for me. So I probably should revisit it because I know it's pretty beloved critically. But Waves is a film that also is all his movies so far have been beloved critically. I think Waves is good. It's once again kind of a family drama, kind of shows a tragedy that a family goes through and kind of how they move on from that tragedy. I will say I do think it's a bit meandering and a bit indulgent at times, but I thought overall, like Sterling K. Brown is in it. I can't remember her name, but it's the girl that's in the Escape Room movies, the star of both of those movies, Taylor something. I can't remember her last name, but she's in it. Lucas Hedges is in it. So it's got some people that you would know. And again, I think it's a very good film, but again, a little bit indulgent at times, but overall it has a pretty powerful impact. Switching gears entirely, and don't ask me why, but I revisited the American Pie movies.
Like all 4 of them?
There are 4. I'd only seen the first 3 before. Okay. So I'd seen American Pie 1 and 2 and American Wedding. I'd never seen American Reunion. That's the 4th one. But I went further than that. I watched the American Pie Presents movies. All the movies that are under that umbrella of American Pie Presents.
I'm not going to list all these.
Slow week. But there's 4 actual American Pie movies proper. And then there's 5 American Pie Presents movies.
Okay, can we
Band Camp?
Can we rank some of these?
The Book of Love, sure. So the American Pie movies, I feel like they're all decently enjoyable, right? I mean, I think probably the first one is the best. You can't really get, and again, it has that kind of nostalgia of like late '90s, so you get to hear the music of that time and stuff like that. And
lots of Smash Mouth.
Yeah, very primitive internet. With the whole webcam thing with Shannon Elizabeth and all that stuff. So
obviously you can tell by our video, like 4K is a lot different than Shannon Elizabeth like uploading like 320.
Well, and it's funny because like some of the guys that are watching Shannon Elizabeth's strip on the webcam are the guys from Blink 182. They're like, they have bit parts in the movie, and I think there's a Blink 182 song playing or something while they're doing that. But yeah, it's so the American Pie, the actual movies. Probably you could rank them as they go in order, something like that. The American Pie Presents movies. So let me just preface it by saying, are the American Pie Presents movies any good? Not really, but if you absolutely set your expectations super, super low, and, you got to think, these American Pie Presents movies are basically like every sex comedy that you've ever seen, from like the 80s, like Porky's or, The Last American Virgin or Losing It or something like that. All kind of in the same vein. They're all just about TNA and, and they all have such a, like, threadbare connection to the American Pie movies. Like Band Camp, it's like Stifler's little brother.
Allison Hannigan mentions Band Camp.
Right. The Band Camp, which is the first American Pie Presents movies, it's like a character play. First of all, none of these movies have any of the cast of American Pie except for Eugene Levy is in all. No, he's in all but the newest one.
He can't say no to
American Pie Presents. Yeah, he plays the same Noah Levenstein in 4 of the 5 American Pie Presents movies. But I would say probably not the Book of Love. Beta House, which is the second one, is probably the best one, and that's not high praise. That's not saying much. Beta House is probably the best one because it's a typical like fraternity sorority kind of comedy, like college comedy. And they're doing college
like Animal
kind of
House, PCU kind of stuff like that.
Exactly, and there's a lot of TNA,
old boy,
gratuitous TNA. And then after that's probably Band Camp.
Okay, the first one,
and then would be the third one is the Book of Love. The fourth one, I don't even remember what the fourth one is called. I think the fourth one maybe is probably the next best one.
Okay,
and then the most recent one, which is on Netflix, is called Girls Rules.
Okay.
And it's all a female starring cast.
Okay.
Not a bunch of guys this time. And I think the worst one's probably the Book of Love.
There's the Naked Mile.
The Naked Mile. So maybe Beta House and Naked Mile, because they're both college movies, are probably the top 2. Then Band Camp, then Girls Rules, then Book of Love. I think is probably the worst one.
Okay.
But none of them are very good. But if you just want to watch a stupid, dumb comedy, drink some beers with your friends, make fun of it, look at some, gratuitous TNA and like stupid, crass, vulgar humor, that's your thing, which, sometimes it's my thing, obviously, because I watch these movies. And they're all on Showtime, except the newest one is on Netflix. The Girls' Rules is on Netflix. But all the rest of them are on Showtime. That's why I watched them, because I was like, what the heck? So that's what I've been doing for the last week or so. I know, I'm pathetic.
Reframed your whole Frozen liking Frozen thing.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I just think it's funny. I go from a movie like a critically acclaimed drama like Waves to American Pie Presents Band Camp and The Naked Mile. All right, so that's what I've been watching.
All right.
And hey, I don't feel bad about it. What have you been watching?
I watched another movie that's on Netflix. I watched Night Teeth. Okay. I think I talked about Night Books a couple weeks ago.
Yes. Yeah,
and I watched another movie, Night Teeth, about vampires.
Is Night Books the one with Kristen Ritter?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe I mentioned Night Teeth when I talked about Night Books.
I just remember Night Books. I don't remember Night Teeth.
Okay. Night Teeth, I didn't watch them at the same time, but I watched them around the same time. Night Teeth is a retelling of a vampire kind of movie. It takes place like in Los Angeles. There's like like an agreement between vampires and humans, and then some of the vampires are kind of rising up and want to do it. It has one of the guy from Game of Thrones in it. That's really narrow. I really narrowed it down.
Pretty open.
I was trying to look up and see if I actually
Nicholas Coster Waldau.
No, it's the guy that was got his penis chopped off. Is like Ren or whatever. Reek. Yeah.
I don't remember that. I don't know what that guy's name is. The actor's name.
Hold on. I'm gonna see if I mentioned it.
The guy who got his penis chopped off. Oh yeah, that guy.
Hey,
I do know who that is, though. I mean,
here you go.
That does narrow it down.
Okay, I did not mention it. So yeah, I watched it. It's not good.
No.
It's.
And this is a made for Netflix.
I think
movie?
so,
Okay.
or it's only on Netflix.
Okay.
I don't remember. It never came on theaters. It's. I don't know. It was one of those movies that made me feel like, man, I'm really old. like either I'm really old and I'm out of touch, or this movie's really bad kind of movie, right? Because it tried to be like this updated kind of retelling, and just none of it worked for me. It was just all not good. The main character was, he's like one of those people that's like thrusted in this world, and he's learning about there's vampires exist and all this kind of stuff, because he kind of takes on this driver, like being like someone's driver, chauffeur kind of thing for his brother, and he's thrusted into this world of vampires and all this kind of stuff, and he just doesn't make smart decisions, I don't feel like, and he's just not with it, and it's just hard for me to kind of watch. So I would skip it, but it looked interesting for some reason, and I watched it, and no, not good. The other thing I'm going to mention that I've been watching, and I haven't finished it yet because the last episode's out, is Hawkeye TV series. We talked about it briefly. And also, Kirby and I are rewatching Harry Potter, which is why my list is so narrow of things I've been watching, because we've already talked about it.
You've been going through the Harry Potter movies. I've been going through the American Pie Presents movies.
There you go. So, you choose who you choose. This is your choose your own adventure. You can go American Pie.
Well, now I'd like to see like Hermione and Harry and Ron like run the Naked Mile.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that would pay for that. I'm sure there's fan fiction about that already.
Probably.
/fic. So watch Night Teeth. I'd skip it unless you really feel like you want to watch it. Been rewatching the Harry Potter movies. Not gonna spend a whole time on that. Although Order of Phoenix is still the best one. Fight me for it. The other thing I've been watching, that's the new Disney Plus series that is Hawkeye, that I really like, because I watch all things Marvel except for like the Eternals, I guess. And I think it's really good. It was something that I was kind of nervous about. You don't get a whole lot of Jeremy Renner in the Avengers movies. He kind of takes a backseat a little bit, and there's not.
I feel like most people are down with that, though. It seems like Hawkeye gets a lot of hate, right? A lot of people are like, "Oh, we hate Hawkeye. He's useless."
I think so. Yeah.
Bows and arrows.
Yeah.
Or shoots arrows.
Black Widow shoots guns. Like, what does she do? The Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier shoots a gun, but he has a metal arm.
Yeah.
So I like it. It's a lot of the heavy lifting of the story for the series comes from the Matt Fraction, David Aja run of Hawkeye, which I adore. It is a really, really good run of Hawkeye that came out, not too long ago, maybe like 5 or 6 years ago. Really good. This show borrows a lot from it, and all the things that are good in the show kind of borrow heavily from that series, I think, and they change things around to make it fit in the MCU. But I've been pleasantly surprised with it. I've enjoyed it. I've actually enjoyed pretty much almost all the Disney Plus Marvel stuff. So, I'm probably gonna like it. I'm probably like a shill for him right now, right? It'd take a lot for me not to like it, but I just wanted to call out. I really been enjoying the Hawkeye series, and this Wednesday is gonna be the last episode. It's only 6 episodes, so if you've been holding out, I say watch it. You might enjoy it. I like it. I do. So that's what I've been watching.
All right.
All right. A lot of rambling.
So on today's episode, we did Frozen. What did you pair Frozen with?
I mentioned earlier there's a sequel to Frozen, Frozen 2.
What?
I've never seen the sequel. I don't know why. I really liked Frozen, like you like, and I don't know why I never really tried to watch it. It came out in 2019, I think, so not too long ago.
Yeah.
But it's a movie that I haven't seen, and also a movie you haven't seen. So that's what I'm going to pair Frozen with, and see how good Frozen 2 is. So stay tuned for that Wednesday. All right, guys. Well, that was everything you want to know about Frozen and more. Stay tuned for us to watch Frozen 2 on Wednesday. Like, subscribe, share, do all the social media stuff. It really does help spread the word, and we really do appreciate it. Send your viewer questions to us at our email address, realshame@gmail.com. And we'll see you Wednesday when we figure out if Elsa should have stayed frozen or whatnot. I don't know. I can't think of a good lead in for that. We'll see you soon, guys. Bye.